Another day, another list is created, and another list that make me have questions. But at the same time, I will say there's not really much disrespect to it, but there's a lot of questions that need to be asked behind why this looks the way it looks. So we had some wide receiver rooms drop. First, we had On Three drop their top 10 rooms in college football. And then one of the guys from, I guess, Orange Bloods, Texas guy, dropped his top 8 wide receiver rooms in the country. And I'm going to be honest, the Orange Blood dude made a lot more sense than the dude over there at On 3. And of course, we're going to talk about that and talk about why. But before we do that, welcome to Unfair Sports. I'm your host, Jay. Thank y'all for pulling up to the channel. So y'all know, the Orange Blood people, they're probably like, just having a blast right now because they got themselves a defensive player. We talked about that in the video before. If you haven't seen it, feel free to check that out. But I want to talk about wide receiver rooms because that seems to be everybody's topic of discussion. Yay, wide receiver room. Boop, 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 boop. We get to go into that conversation. But it kind of baffled me because like I said, the Orange Blood guys actually had some logic behind theirs, which very rarely do I ever say that, in comparison to what On 3 was putting out there. I was a little baffled by On 3. So let's look at Orange Bloods first. Then we're going to go to On 3s, and y'all tell me which one y'all think make the most sense. First up, Orange Bloods. This is what they put up there. Top 8 wide receiver rooms in the game. You got Ohio State. Of course, they put Texas. And then Oklahoma, Oregon, Ole Miss, Missouri, LSU, and then Louisville. That's their top 8. I'm sensing if they had a top 10 that you'd see a few other schools that we know about. But I was baffled by this because it appears that everyone's buying in on the transfer piece for Texas right now. And keeping it a buck, people didn't really buy in on the transfer piece for us at Oklahoma. But I get it. Texas lost their 3 guys. And they brought in 3 guys that have at least 400 yards receiving or more, which isn't too bad. So y'all know what I did, right? Of course y'all know what I did. I did what I always do. I went and pulled some numbers. Went to go see, can we compare what these numbers look like? And when I pulled the numbers, like I said, absolutely no shade to my brethren over there at Texas. But the numbers don't say that Oklahoma should be third to anybody. And this is why I say that. Oklahoma's bringing back a lot of players from the last team that have been in practice with Jackson Arnold. And so statistically, they're bringing in a lot of dudes. So you look at it here. That's what Oklahoma's bringing back. In comparison to Texas, you've got 3,100 receiving yards on 178 catches and 27 touchdowns, to where Texas is bringing out 148 catches and 1,900 yards, 15 touchdowns. Now, y'all tell me which one you think is better. I'm just going to let y'all have that moment to decide, right? Because when I looked at that, I'm like, all right, yeah, all those transfer guys they're bringing in got a lot of numbers. They weren't at Texas last year. So the question is going to be how they integrate them in the system, how they play in the system, all of that jazz, right? Whereas Oklahoma added one guy, Deion Burks, who adds, 629 yards, 7 touchdowns, and is a fantastic slot guy. And we know he's going to be pretty dang solid. For Texas, they only bring back Jonte Cook. All the other guys are new. They're still learning each other, filling each other out, filling out Quinn, filling out what they're going to do. I'm assuming they just plan on just throwing the ball deep every play and hoping that it works. I don't know how that works out for everybody else, but, that seems like that's what's in the mindset. But for us, I think this is where I was just looking at this like, can we be a little realistic here? Is that when On 3 dropped theirs, they got Oklahoma at number 9. We look at the list. I see the first 2 teams have new quarterbacks. See, number 4 has a little continuity. 5, honestly, Missouri should get the respect because they bringing back Cook and Weiss as well as Luther Burden. So they're bringing back their wide receiver room for the most part. I'm trying to figure out Oklahoma's number 9. Now, of course, I'm going to run all the numbers for every wide receiver returning and transfer and see what this looks like. I just didn't feel like doing that yet, but it's going to happen very soon. But I'm trying to understand here. And with the room that this guy's putting together, Emmett Jones, the way they showing out, the way they're balling, kind of surprised me that, we would hit him with that disrespect, right? Andrea Anthony walked in here, became a top receiver the minute that, we got him here at the team. I mean, you got Andrell as well as Emmett Jones together. The room is stacked. I mean, you got Jaden Gibson showing out. Nick Anderson emerged. I think he's probably going to be number one with Deion Burks out here showing just ridiculousness at the slot. I mean, the numbers themselves, when I looked at them, I'm like, okay, guys, Oklahoma's really got some really good wide receivers here. Like, they've got some players that are ballers. I mean, we look at comparing the numbers. The numbers just speak for themselves. So, again, I'm going to run all the numbers for all the teams. You'll probably see me tweet something out about that. But the one thing I'll give props to here is that, if anything, Orange Bloods actually understood the assignment. They understand that we can't be playing around with Oklahoma like that because Oklahoma's always ready to play back. The only problem I'm running into with them is the fact that they really think the Texas wide receiver room full of transfers are better than Oklahoma's room full of players who've been here with the quarterback that they're playing with. But it's okay. That's just kind of how the game rolls. That's how the cookie crumbles. That's the game itself. So, looking at that with them two lists, hop in the comments. Let me know how y'all feeling about this wide receiver room. Like, I mean, I don't even really need to know. I know y'all going to tell me how good the room is. You're going to get mad at the Texas guys. Don't engage with the trolls. I just thought it was a fascinating list because, again, we are in list season. So we're going to get a bunch of these. If you made it this far, like the content, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. Would love for y'all to join this family of college football fans. Talking to OU football, SEC, and college football in general, and having a blast doing it. So, we'll talk more position stuff. We've got to talk about defensive line now that we had a change. And if we got a target, heard we do. So y'all can check out one of the videos on the screen below. We're talking about Lele leaving and what that means for the Sooners going forward. So yeah, we'll talk soon. Peace.